Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for joining us on today's edition. This is the 7 p.m. English newscast on Info Television. We kickstart with our top stories. The new Inspector General of the Ministry of Transport, in the person of Mireille Ngele Ahada Bias, has officially been installed this Monday, December 8, by the Minister of Transport. And the 6th session of the right of the Electoral Board relating to the election of regional councillors of the 30th November 2025 has taken place in Yaoundé this December 8, 2025. Those were our top stories. Details in a jiffy. Welcome back. Mireille Ngele Ahada Bias officially takes office as Inspector General of the Ministry of Transport following appointment by presidential decree. This was during a ceremony which held at the Yaoundé Conference Center, presided over by the Minister of Transport, Jean-Ernest Massinangale Bibehe. Details in this report.
Mireille Ahada Ngele Bias, after a presidential decree on November 28, 2025, appointing her as the Inspector General at the Ministry of Transport, the transport boss Jean-Ernest Massinangale Bibehe, during an installation ceremony in the tripartite hall at the Yaoundé Conference Center in Yaoundé on November 8, 2025, officially installed Mireille Ahada Ngele Bias into function. The appointment, which now brings into action President Paul Biya's inaugural speech insisting on empowering women and the youth, sees a woman ascend par maintaining the top job at the Ministry of Transport in Cameroon. A wife and mother of two with a convincing educational background and professional experience is ready to take the lead at the Ministry of Transport.
Madame l'inspecteur général, vous l'aurez compris, les défis sont immenses.
Madame the Inspector General, as you know already, the challenges are enormous and the task ahead of you is highly demanding. I am counting on your frank collaboration and your competence to attain the objective of the Ministry of Transport given to us by the Head of State, President Paul Biya. My hands are open to welcome you at any moment in case of any difficulties encountered in the course of your duty, so as to find lasting solutions necessary. With the growing concern for the fight against corruption, the newly installed Inspector General is bent on combating this moral decadence.
The President of the Republic promised to put his confidence in women and youth. So we can see now that the promise are taking course. And you know, the challenges are great in the Ministry of Transport. Firstly, in the Inspectorate General, we have to fight against corruption. We daily receive many complaints about users from our collaborators in the highway working in our road prevention teams. So we have to fight against corruption and downgrade the level of corruption in the Ministry of Transport.
The newly installed Inspector General promises to work hand in gloves with collaborators so as to overcome the problem of the issuance of driver license and fully implement reforms in the interest of road users.
We also have to follow up the reform. Many reforms have been put in place in the road safety sector, in driving license examination process, in card certificate delivery process. So we have to follow up all these reforms for the satisfaction of the users.
The ceremony marks the presence of members of government, stakeholders, local, administrative and traditional authorities, alongside loved ones, showing appreciation to the Head of State, President Paul Biya, for such an appointment. All that begins well ends well, as Mireille Ahada Ngele Bias is ready to produce the expected results.
The Cameroon Education Reform Support Project has launched the second phase of its drive to provide free birth certificates to children. This was during a press conference in Yaoundé this December 8, 2025, organized by the CERSP General Coordinator in the person of Ambroise Owotsogo Ongenoin. Jessica Nziwum tells us more.
In the framework of the special operation for the issuance and delivery of birth certificates, this initiative aims to help Cameroonian children complete their schooling. Historically, about 75 to 76% of children complete the education cycle, while the remaining 25% who do not are generally those without access to birth certificates. The special operation, led by the Minister of Basic Education, Professor Laurent Serge Etundingoa, and financed by the World Bank through the Support Program for the Reform of Education, specifically seeks to provide birth certificates to nearly 2 million children. This effort is supported by all relevant partners and is guided by clear objectives to improve school enrollment and completion rates.
Vise justement à doter à près d'1 million d'enfants.
The initiative aims to facilitate the birth registration of nearly 2 million children with the support of all partners, starting with the Ministry of Justice, which organizes special sessions for foreign nationals in various localities. After the success of the first special operation launched by the Minister of Basic Education, Laurent Serge Etundingoa, it is important to highlight the current progress and where we stand today.
Où en sommes-nous? C'est que jusqu'à présent, sur les près d'1 million d'enfants que
so far, out of nearly 1 million children targeted by the initiative, only about 50%, or roughly 533,000, have had their cases filed with the authorities. This represents significant progress in giving legal recognition to over 500,000 children, but the goal has not yet been fully achieved. For this reason, the Minister of State, the Minister of Justice, has extended the operation until January 15, 2026. Strategies have been implemented to specifically target and reach children in rural areas. The Minister of Education addresses the district inspectors, who in turn gather school directors to relay the information. The administrative authorities are also deeply involved in this awareness strategy to ensure that everyone is informed. They hold meetings with all officials at the administrative level to disseminate the information effectively. Following the success of the first phase, the second phase of the special operation aims to ensure that nearly 2 million more children, particularly in rural areas, receive birth certificates. With these documents, children gain access to schooling and a legal identity, reinforcing Cameroon's commitment to education for all and the protection of children's rights.
And on to education, the UNESCO Central Africa ICT Access Chair and the ISEN Yinkria West Engineering School have formalized an agreement to support doctoral training for young people and women in artificial intelligence, a collaboration made official through the signing of a partnership agreement between the holder of the UNESCO chair, Claude Abanda, and the Director General of the Yinkria Est on December 5 in France, Brest. Details in this report.
To enable young people from Central Africa to benefit from doctoral training in artificial intelligence and new technologies, the UNESCO Central Africa ICT Access Chair, represented by its holder, Claude Abanda, and the ISEN Yinkria West Engineering School, represented by its General Director of Mr. Fuda, signed a partnership agreement on December 5, 2025 in Brest, France. This partnership, endorsed by both institutions, reflects their commitment to strengthening academic and scientific cooperation. The agreement specifies the condition and modalities of collaborations between UNESCO ICT Access Chair and Ukraine OS, particularly regarding reception, enrollment and supervision of doctoral students from the chair in Ukraine OS Research Laboratory, which specialize in training doctoral candidates in the field of artificial intelligence and its three main areas of focus. When I came a few months ago at the invitation of Mr. Ambanda, head of the UNESCO Chair of Central Africa, Access ICT in Cameroon, I saw the energy of young people, the desire to learn, the desire to study and pursue a PhD. With Mr. Abanda, we had the idea of creating a partnership with ICENCRE West, a major school of computer science and new technologies in Brest, France, to allow these young people from Central Africa to pursue PhD, develop their skills in artificial intelligence and new technologies within this research laboratory, and then apply them in the daily lives of Central African inhabitants. It's perfectly in line with the UNESCO Chair, a UNESCO university, to create this partnership for students to conduct research within the framework of the UNESCO Chair. Representing the ambassador of Cameroon in France, André Magnus Ekomo, Dr. Vincelin Avom Akomja, cultural advisor at the Embassy of Cameroon in Paris, welcomed this collaboration between the UNESCO Chair, a strategic and institutional partner for promoting youth and women access to ICT in Central Africa and Ukraine West. Giving young people growing interest in computing and new technologies, this partnership aligns with the mission of the UNESCO Central Africa ICT Access Chair, notably to promote training, research and innovation in digital technology, artificial intelligence and technologies dedicated to sustainable development. After the exchange of documents and gifts, the meeting concluded with a visit to the ICN Ukraine West Engineering School facilities in Brest.
And on to this information, students of the Faculty of Arts, Letters and Social Sciences, dubbed FALSS, enrolled in the Postgraduate School for Arts, Languages and Cultures, are informed that the census operation of former Masters 2 and Doctorate students is scheduled from December 8, 2025 to January 16, 2026 at the Faculty of Arts, Letters and Social Sciences of the University of Yaoundé 1. To this end, each student is required to show up at the Secretariat of the CRFD/ALC with the following documents: a receipt for payment of university fees, that's 50,000 CFA francs for the 2025-2026 academic year, an academic registration form issued by the Faculty of Arts, Letters and Social Sciences Academic Services, a passport size 4x4 color photograph, a census form to be collected at the Secretariat of the Postgraduate School. This mandatory operation aims to create a reliable database of students enrolled in doctorate and master's programs. Students who have not submitted the requested census documents will be considered as having withdrawn. Reminder, payment of pre-registration and university fees for Masters 2 and Doctorate levels is to be made at the Union Bank of Cameroon, UBA, account number 372000064, key 55, signed the coordinator of CRFD/ALC. And on today's other information, the sixth session of the right of the Electoral Board relating to the election of regional councillors has taken place in Yaoundé this December 8, 2025. This session is chaired by Dr. Eno Abrams Egbe, chairperson of the Electoral Board, as you tell us in this report, Jude Kenji.
Taking place this 8th of December 2025 at the Elecam headquarters in Yaoundé is the sixth session as of right of the Electoral Board relating to the elections of regional councillors that took place on 30th November 2025. After the proclamation of the result by the 10 regional supervisory commissions, it is a moment to appreciate the efforts of the members of the Electoral Board.
Your discipline, sense of duty, and unwavering commitment are testament to the maturity and professionalism that our institution has acquired over the years in organizing, managing, and supervising elections.
The session, chaired by Dr. Eno Abrams Egbe, chairperson of the Electoral Board, president of Elections Cameroun, is devoted to the general evaluation of the recently concluded regional elections, as well as voting operations within the 2 electoral colleges.
Today's session shall be devoted to the general evaluation of the recently concluded regional election. The preliminary report submitted by the Director General of Elections will enable us to review the organization of the polls, the deployment of materials and logistics, the performance of the personnel, and the conduct of voting operations within the 2 electoral colleges, namely municipal councillors and traditional rulers.
With the regional elections confirmed to have been concluded without any major incident at all 58 divisional headquarters and results proclaimed within the 72 hours deadline set out in Section 265 of the Electoral Code, Elections Cameroun continues to prepare for upcoming elections.
Away from that, as the world marks the World Climate Day, Cameroon stands at the forefront of the climate crisis, grappling with rising temperatures and others. Mimi Tiobo met with climate experts and compiled the following reports.
World Climate Day is observed every year on December 8, a global event that highlights the urgent need to address climate change. As the world comes together to combat this pressing issue, Cameroon is not immune to its far-reaching consequences.
Cameroon, throughout its 5 agroecological zones, is affected by the impact of climate change, manifesting in several ways. The significant impact of climate change on the health and the agricultural sectors are manifested by the rising trends of temperatures, which increases or exacerbates this heat stress.
Cameroon, like many other countries, is experiencing the devastating impact of climate change. Rising temperature, shifting precipitation patterns, and the increasing frequency of extreme weather events are altering ecosystem, affecting livelihood, and strengthening the well-being of its citizens.
National Observatory on Climate Change to enlighten the population on the climate in Cameroon. Cameroon, throughout its 5 agroecological zones, are affected by the negative impact of climate change, notably on the sector of health and agriculture. So, how does this affect these particular sectors? Firstly, the National Observatory on Climate Change has carried out studies such as the climatic profiles, which gives in some results such as the increase in the trends of average temperatures throughout the national territory.
The consequences of climate change are particularly severe in the health and agricultural sectors. Warmer temperature and changing rainfall patterns contribute to the spread of disease such as malaria, while altering growing seasons and recurring droughts reduce crops yield, undermining food security. As we mark World Climate Day, let us reaffirm our commitment to protecting the planet and ensuring a sustainable future for all. Together, we can mitigate the effect of climate change and build a more resilient Cameroon.
The Ngondo Carnival Festival turned the city of Douala into a giant festival of culture, rhythm and tradition. On November 6, 2025, it was an explosion of emotion and identity for the Sawa people. Jessica Ndiwum throws more light.
Douala erupted into a carnival atmosphere on Saturday, December 6, 2025, as the city hosted this year's Ngondo celebrations. The event began at the King Deode Mausoleum, where participants gathered in traditional Sawa-colored costumes to mark the start of the cultural festivities. From there, the carnival procession moved through the streets of the economic capital, filling the city with music, dance, and the vibrant colors of Sawa tradition. Many joined in with with joy, celebrating the heritage and unity of the Sawa people as the Ngondo Carnival once again showcased its rich cultural identity. Carnival is an important moment for Ngondo festivities. It brings together sister communities from the north, like the Musguns, and gives us the chance to showcase the symbols of Sawa tradition. The carnival follows a lively route from Rond Point Dedo to Rond Point 4, passing through Ponjos and the government premises before reaching the house of Sawa culture.
J'avoue, c'est une toute première fois.
I've always watched Ngo on TV, but this was the first time I'm experiencing it live. I'm amazed by the African culture and the traditions I see everywhere. I'm Bamileke, but seeing Sawa culture is so impressive. It's beautiful and inspiring.
C'est très beau, c'est bien.
Among the floats in the 2025 Ngondo Carnival, the urban community of Douala's Chariots stands out. It features the Beetowe, the iconic shrimps linked to Cameroon's name, and a canoe-shaped display where Miss Douala Fiesta was seated. It's a remarkable event, one that will continue for years to come. It's truly admirable to see so many young people dedicated and fully engaged in making it a success. The carnival sweeps through the city, making Douala glow. The turnout shows its success. The carnival has been a success, and I couldn't be happier. It's wonderful to see people coming out, cantons joining in to sing and dance, and groups from elsewhere bringing their performances. Seeing the Fantasia and all the dancers, I'm truly delighted. Thank you to everyone who came to celebrate with us. Participants have gathered along River Wari for the vibrant celebration of Ngondo Carnival Festival.
And in sports, Samuel Eto'o's Cameroon's all-time scorer has transitioned from an illustrious playing career to a key administrative role. Many Cameroonians believe he remains the best choice to lead the country's football. More on this shall be yours in our subsequent editions. Ladies and gentlemen, and that takes us to the end of tonight's edition. Thanks very much for watching and staying in the company of our programs. Thank you.
L'état de droit a prévalu